Today I will show you how to create an FTP server on Windows XP Professional. Then later we will configure this server in order to use it on different mobile devices. To create an FTP server, first we have to install the Internet Information Services. To install that, go to Control Panel, click Add or Remove Programs, then click Add Remove Windows Components. Here in the Component tab, you can see Internet Information Services. Check that and click Details. In the Details tab, you can see File Transfer Protocol. Check this and click OK. Then click Next. It will install the FTP server, but as you can see, it requires the XPCD. Click OK. But I happen to have this folder backed up on my hard drive, so I will just give the path of that folder here and then click OK. This will copy the files. Click Finish. At this point, your FTP site has been created and the Internet Information Services components has also been set up. Now by default, a FTP site has already been created. You can access this site from C, initpub, FTP root, and as you can see, this site is empty and it is also unsecured. To test this site, we will open any browser, and in the URL field we will type FTP localhost. This shows that your FTP server has been created. Now our next step is to configure this FTP site. To configure this FTP site, go to Start, Control Panel, Performance and Maintenance, Administrative Tools, and here double click on Internet Information Services. From here, expand localhost, FTP sites, and here you can see default FTP site. This is the main FTP center from where you can change different settings. Right click on it, go to Properties. Here you can see many different tabs. Let's discuss what does these tabs do. Here you can see is the description, which is the name of our FTP site. Let's rename it to something familiar like MF FTP site. This is the port where our FTP site will listen. By default is 21. Let's keep it 21 and keep the other settings unchanged. Moving to the security accounts, here you can see is the Allow Anonymous Connections checkbox has been checked. This is in order to allow the anonymous connections to connect to our FTP site. But here you can see there is a password set for our anonymous connection. We have to disable this for now by unchecking this checkbox. Let's move to the messages. There are a few messages for your FTP site like banner, welcome screen, exit, and maximum connection. Let's call the banner as MF FTP site. Welcome message as you are accessing MF FTP site. Exit message as the connection to MF FTP site has been closed. And the maximum connection message would be the server has reached maximum connection limit. Please try again later. Now let's move to our next tab, which is Home Directory. Here under the FTP site directory you can see the default path, and you can change this path by your desired path, and you can change the accessibility permissions here. That would be all for our connection configuration. Now let's test our FTP sites with new settings. But before doing that, let's create something useful in our FTP root folder. Something like a text file. Let's call it notebook.txt. Save it. Now launch the browser again and enter the FTP server location. Refresh it a little bit. Here you can see our FTP server file, which is .txt because I think I have hidden the extension. But as you can see, we can access our FTP server easily. That's all from the server side. Now we will move to the mobile client. Now I will show you how to use my FTP server from the mobile device. I am using my iPhone 4 to access the FTP server that was created on Windows XP. First I have to access my wireless network, that is Adeel. So I will just connect it. Then I have to the static IP addresses in order to avoid any disturbance while using the FTP server. I have entered my IP address, subnet mask and the router address. In order to use the FTP server, we need some FTP client in our mobile device. But I will use the default browser, that is Safari, to access my FTP server. So open in the URL field, insert FTP and address of my FTP site. Now you can see that I have accessed my root directory which I shared on my FTP server on the XP, and these files were present on the directory. I can use these files, download them on my phone and do whatever I want to do with them. Let's open our notepad.txt file, and here you can see the contents of that file. I have also placed an image on my FTP root directory. Let's open that. And as you can see, I have accessed that image from my mobile device. As you can see how easy it was to create an FTP server and access it from my mobile device. Hope this tutorial would have helped. Please give your suggestions to the email address provided in the description box. Thank you.